You're sitting at your computer and you've got a client project due, but your mind is completely blank. You know exactly what you need to create, but the ideas, they're not coming. Does this sound familiar? Hey there, I'm Mark Decote, and I've been designing professionally for over 35 years. And one thing I've learned is that creativity isn't something you can just flip a switch and turn on. It just doesn't work like that. In fact, your mind works against you sometimes. Here's why. Your brain loves routine. It loves doing the same thing over and over again because it's efficient. But as creative professionals, we're constantly breaking away from routine. We're problem solving. We're imagining new things. And that takes serious mental energy. The problem is, when you're in the middle of a project and you hit that wall, that moment where you're not, or you've got nothing, you can't just force creativity to happen. Your mind is exhausted. It needs to refuel. So I want to share 6 ways that I've used to get unstuck when I'm in a creative rut. Now, some of these do sound very weird, and some are super simple, but they all work, at least for me. Let's start with the first one. Put it down on paper or on screen. Here's what happens. You get an idea in your head, and immediately you think, nah, that won't work. But then you just can't stop thinking about it. You try to move past it, but it's stuck in there, blocking everything else. What you need to do is actually create it, sketch it out, get it in front of you visually, even if you know it's a terrible idea. Because here's the thing, once it's out of your head and on paper or on the screen, you can finally see what's actually wrong with it. And surprisingly, maybe it's just a simple font change away from being good, or maybe it's completely unsalvageable. But either way, it's no longer taking up mental space. Think of it like freeing up RAM on your computer. You're clearing the cache so your mind can move onto the next idea. Now, the second tip is step away and have a look. When you're stuck, pounding away at your keyboard isn't going to help. You need distance, physical distance. And here's the thing that nobody teaches you in design school about design work. We spend all this time zooming in and zooming out on our monitors. We shrink images down to check whether a logo works at a very small size, and that is important, but it's not the same as actually standing back and looking at it. I'm talking about walking away from your desk, leave your office, then come back in and stop in the doorway, or better yet, stand 30 or 40 feet away if you can from your screen, and just look at the design from across the room. I've done this hundreds of times. I'll be frustrated zooming in and fiddling with some tiny detail, and I can't figure out what's wrong. But the moment I step back and view it from a distance, everything clicks. Suddenly, I can see exactly what the problem is. And stepping back is not the same as zooming out on your screen. And I don't know why, I don't know the psychology behind it, but it just isn't. Your perspective completely changes when you physically distance yourself. Things that looked fine up close might suddenly feel off. Or you'll see a solution you've been missing the entire time. So when in doubt, step back. Now, this third one is the one I use the most often. And honestly, it's changed my creative process. And that's occupy your mind with something menial. What I mean by this is something you don't have to think about. Take a shower, wash the dishes, go walk the dog, vacuum, fold laundry. Most days, if I'm struggling with something creatively, I'll step away and go have a shower. And here's why it works. Your brain can't focus or doesn't focus on the soap and water. It's a routine task that requires 0 mental effort. You're not consciously thinking about, oh, now I have to wash my left arm. Oh, now I've got to wash my right arm. You just do it. You wash. In fact, I can't tell you how many times I've been in the shower and suddenly I'm thinking there, wondering, did I wash my hair or not? What little hair I have. I literally would touch my hair to see if I can tell if it's clean, but I have no idea. But during those moments, when my hands are busy and I'm doing those mindless tasks, that's when my best ideas hit me. You've probably experienced this too. You're doing something automatic, something your mind knows how to do without even thinking about it. And suddenly, you're flooded with creative ideas. It's a combination of things. The white noise helps, the routine helps, but mainly, you're freeing up your brain from the pressure of trying to be creative. And that's when creativity actually flows. Okay, this one sounds crazy. I'm warning you right now. But stick with me. Tip number 4 is change your perspective. And what I mean by that is look at your familiar surroundings from an unfamiliar angle. Try lying down on the bathroom floor and looking up at the room around you. Or lie down in your stairwell and look up. If you have a spare room, go lie down in there. I know it sounds absurd, but here's what's happening. Your mind is constantly trying to make sense of what it sees anywhere it goes. And when you see something that you're familiar with, but from an angle you've never seen it before, your brain goes into a little bit of overdrive trying to process it. And there's something about seeing that familiar in a surreal way that triggers your creative thinking. Your mind essentially resets itself. It's like doing a hard reboot while it's trying to understand what it's seeing. Have I actually done this? Yes, I have. When I was completely stuck, I've laid down on my bathroom floor and just stared up at the ceiling. And you know what? It's worked more than once. Not every time. Some creative ruts are deeper than that, but it's worth trying. And if you're working from home like I am, nobody has to know about it. I mean, my dogs don't judge me, and neither should you. The 5th tip is feed your brain. And not junk food, brain food. When you're working from home, it's so easy to just grab whatever's convenient. I'm guilty of this constantly. My pantry is literally in the next room. I can grab a cookie in 5 seconds. But here's the thing. Junk food gives your body a quick boost, sure, but it doesn't do anything for you creatively. Brain food is different. Nuts, berries, whole grains like breads, bagels, oatmeals, these release glucose in your bloodstream, which keeps your brain alert and sharp. Broccoli has vitamin K, which enhances cognitive functions. And fish, tomatoes, all of these things support mental performance. If you're feeling creatively drained at 3 p.m. and you grab a chocolate bar, you may get a sugar rush, but your creativity, it's not going to improve. Now, this one isn't a quick fix. You can't just grab a handful of nuts and suddenly your creative block disappears. But if you build a habit of eating brain foods regularly, you'll notice that you have more creative energy throughout the day and you'll have less of those creative ruts. You'll be sharper and you'll solve problems faster. And finally, the 6th tip, ask for help. I love working from home. I've done it for over 20 years. The freedom is incredible. I can work on my own schedule, I take breaks when I need them, and I control my environment. But here's the downside. You're alone. You don't have other designers around to bounce ideas off of. You don't have colleagues who can walk over and give you a fresh eyes on a problem. When I worked in the design department at a commercial printer, we did this regularly. The designers would huddle around someone's desk, critique the work, ask questions, and share ideas. That collaboration pushed everyone's creativity forward. Working from home, you lose that. So you need to create that environment deliberately. Join online groups where designers share work. There are so many of them, and people regularly request feedback. Join graphic design forums. Post on Behance. You can also join communities like my very own Resourceful Designer community, where we regularly discuss the business side of design and share work for feedback. And sometimes we just vent on the day we're having. Now, regardless of whether you join a free or paid group, you should have peers you can share ideas with and get feedback from. But be careful with some platforms, though. Not everyone that is giving a critique actually knows what they're talking about. So build a trusted network of designers or friends you can actually rely on. And here's something else I used to do all the time. I'd ask my kids when they lived at home, I'd ask them when they got home from school, I'd call them into my office and I'd ask for their opinion on what I'm working on. They're not designers. They don't know design theory and all that. But they sometimes would see things that I didn't. They spot problems because they haven't been staring at the design for hours like I have. So even uninformed feedback helps. It breaks you out of your own perspective. Don't try to do this alone. Share your work, get feedback from other designers, from friends, from family. The perspective shift is exactly what you need to unstick yourself creatively. So there you have it. 6 ways to get unstuck when your creativity hits a wall. Put the idea down, step back and look at it, do something menial, change your perspective, feed your brain, and ask for help. Now, some of these you'll use consistently, some will feel weird the first time, but they all work, and I've tested every single one of them multiple times. And if you're running a design business and you're struggling, whether it's with creativity, client management, pricing, or anything else, I'm here to help. Subscribe to this channel for more tips and strategies that'll help you streamline your business so you can focus on what you do best, designing. And please leave me a comment and let me know, what do you do to get out of a creative rut? And if you're looking for different ideas when it comes to pricing your design work, you'll find valuable information in this video about pricing strategies for your design business. Well, that's it for me. Until next time, stay creative.